Lesson 1.4, Order of Operations. What's an operation? An operation is a mathematical process. So, for example, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. And why do we need a specific order of operations? Well, we need a specific order of operations because math is universal. The order of operation ensures that everyone in the world will perform the same math problem in the same way and come up with the same answer. So, for example, I have two problems. One I will do correctly, and one I will use no order of operations. So in the first problem, if I'm using the order of operations, I multiply first, then add, and I come up with the answer 18. If I don't use the order of operations, I do 8 times 10, and I come up with the answer 80. Obviously, two very different solutions. How would we know which one's right? Using the order of operations, there's a couple different ways to remember the order. You may have heard PEMDAS before. PEMDAS is a mnemonic device that helps you remember the order of operations, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. These go in order. First, we do parentheses. Well, parentheses is not just parentheses, it's all grouping symbols. This includes parentheses, braces, brackets, absolute value, and fraction bars. We perform all operations inside of grouping symbols first. Next, second is exponents. We calculate all of the exponents. Third is multiplication or division. A common misconception is that you have to go through and do all of the multiplication first and then go through and do all of the division. You do multiplication or division in order as you move from right to left across the problem. Finally, we add or subtract, again, in order as we move right to left across the problem. Other ways to remember the order. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and one that one of my former students came up with. Purple elephants munch daisies all Sunday. I also like to think of the order of operations as a royal family. So I call it the royal family of mathematical operations. At the highest level, we have the king. These are our parentheses. The king is what comes first in the royal household. You defer to the king. Next, we have the queen. The queen is our exponents. Then we have the prince and the princess. Now, the prince and the princess have equal weight in the royal hierarchy. That's multiplication or division. And finally, you have the peasants. The peasants are at the very bottom rung of the ladder, and that's addition or subtraction. So let's try some example problems. In our first problem, we have 72 divided by 9 plus 7. Now, this one is set up that if you just went straight across, you'd actually end up lucky. But we need to divide before we add. 72 divided by 9 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 2 plus 7 times 5. Multiplication comes before addition. 2 plus 35 is 37. 9 plus 8 minus 7. Addition and subtraction have the same weight, so we go in order. We do 9 plus 8. Then we subtract 7 and end up with 10. 9 minus 32 divided by 4. I need to divide this 32 by 4 first. So I have 9 minus 8, which will give me a 1. 5 times 10 minus 1. We need to perform our operation inside the parentheses first. So although this is multiplication and this is subtraction, subtraction is inside parentheses and parentheses is king. So this is going to be 5 times 9, which will give us 45. I have 48 divided by 4 plus 4. Again, addition inside parentheses has a greater weight than division because of the parentheses. So I have 48 divided by 8, which will give me 6. And here I have 20 divided by 4 minus 10 minus 8. I have parentheses inside of parentheses. I have to start in the most inside parentheses. So I have 20 divided by 4 minus 2. So 20 divided by 2, which will give me 10. And here I have 4 divided by 4 minus 5 minus 3. Parentheses comes first, then division to give me 10 minus 2, which will give me 8. Here's a couple of other problems where we've added the fraction bar. Fraction bars are a grouping symbol. That means that I need to perform the operations on either side of the fraction bar first. So this is going to give me 27. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So 27 divided by 9 plus 3. A fraction is just division, so 27 divided by 9. So that's 3 plus 3 to give me 6. Here I have 8 times 15 divided by 5 minus 5 plus 9. Parentheses come first, so that's going to give me 14. And then division and multiplication come next. Now in this particular problem, you're going, oh, division and multiplication have the same weight, so I have to multiply then divide, but this is a grouping symbol. The grouping symbol means that I need to do that before I multiply. So this is going to give me 8 times 3 minus 14. I'll do the 8 times 3 next, so that is going to give me 24 minus 14, which will result in a 10. Inside these parentheses, 10 plus 2 minus 2. Doesn't matter which order really I do these first in, but I'm going to go in order right to left. Sorry, left to right. So I have 10 plus 2, which is 12, minus 2, which is 10, times 6 minus 1. Multiplication comes next, so I have 60 minus 1, which will give me 59. And finally, we have some more complicated problems with parentheses inside of brackets. We need to do what's inside the innermost parentheses first. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Everything else I write down exactly as it was. Now I have exponents and multiplication. Exponents come next. And I want to take some time really quickly to discuss the difference between this and this. If I have a negative 2 squared and there are no parentheses, this negative is hanging out by itself, so that's negative 2 times 2, which gives me negative 4. If the negative is inside the parentheses, I have negative 2 times negative 2, which gives me positive 4. So be very careful of that. If there are parentheses with an exponent outside of it, you square the negative as well. Think of an exponent like a taser. If this negative and this 2 are hanging out, standing next to each other, and this exponent comes and tases this 2, the negative is not going to get shocked. However, these parentheses show that they're holding hands. So when the 2 tases, it tases them both. Okay, so I know that this is going to give me a positive 4. Negative 4 and negative 4 is positive 16. Now I need to do the addition inside the brackets. 16 plus 4 is 20, and 7 times 20 is 140. Coming down to the next problem, I have 3 minus 6, which is negative 3. 9 minus 6 is positive 3. Exponents come before multiplication, so I have 4, bracket 5, Negative 3 squared, that's in the parentheses, so that's a positive 9 minus 3. Multiplication comes before subtraction, so 45 minus 3. Then subtraction inside the brackets before this multiplication, so 42 times 4, and that's going to give me 168. Suppose I should practice good skills and circle my answer. Okay, 7 minus 9 is negative 2. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. This one's squared, this one times negative 2. Brackets and a 5. Exponents come before multiplication, so negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. It's going to give me 5 times 8, which is going to give me 40. And this one I'll just work out to the side. I'm going to do this one first, and then this one. So I'll have 6 bracket 5 parenthesis negative 4 squared plus negative 2 bracket minus 3. This is next, which gives me positive 16. Come up this way so I have room, sorry. 6 times 5 times 16 minus 2 minus 3. 5 times 16 is 80 minus 2. 80 minus 2 is 78. 6 times 78 is 468. Minus 3 is 465.